Hello everyone, thank you for coming today. My name is Richard Shaw. You might know me from some of my greater hits like the Project Management Kanban and other videos on our e-learning platform. And today we'll be talking about what's going on in our repair app, or essentially efficiently managing the repair process with Odoo. Before we begin, please take a moment. We will have a Q&A afterwards, so if you want to scan the QR code, feel free, or the URL is down below. Any and all questions about the repair app is welcome, of course. I'll just wait a couple more seconds to give you an opportunity to scan it. 5, 4, 3, and after this 2 seconds is gone. I'm just kidding, there'll be another one at the end. It's gonna happen. All right, essentially, what do we know about the repair app from before? It was a rather standalone application where you can select a product to repair. You can then add or remove products, components, as you wish from what needs to be repaired. I mean, it's quite insular, as I mentioned before. You just select the product, remove the parts, etc. So quite straightforward. We'll wait for this to come back. Great. So you can patch things up quite easily now. Some of the new things going on are specifically related to integrations. So we're going to be a bit more integrated. In the past, you could, of course, create a quotation and choose to charge clients or invoice them for the services that you provide, which is the repair, the parts especially. And it would take the price from the product and the taxes, etc. Now with version 17, it is a lot more integrated. It's a lot easier. It's a lot smoother, specifically with sales as well as inventory. For example, the first thing you're going to see here is we are connected more with the front end and the back end. So this screen is the product form view. In this case, I have a product type of service, and you have a new Boolean called create repair. Essentially what this means is before, you created the quotation after the repair. You perform the repair, create the quotation if you wish, but now we have it directly from the beginning. You issue a sales order, and it will create a repair, just like if we were to create a task or a project. How useful is this depends really on your business. For example, this is really useful for drone repair companies, or computer repair, TV repair, etc. Now with, of course, the right to repair laws coming into effect, you can also repair phones quite easily. So what you'd expect is you create an order, and a repair is created. Now in this instance, I'm creating a generic product called drone repair. Because if you were to repair different types of phones, you want to keep track of iPhone 8, 12, etc., it will be a bit convoluted with all the different products in your database. So I'd recommend, in this instance, one specific one. Now, I did specify service in this instance. You can also do this with a storable product. But that also means you're going to get a delivery order. So whether or not that actually applies to your business or your workflow is up to you. Next is another part of the workflow that we will see as well, is that when it comes to incoming receipts, so for example, you may sell a product, send it to the client, deliver it. Perhaps maybe on the way there it broke, or maybe you have a warranty applied, and after a year they can come back, charge them for the parts, as you see here. There's a checkbox on the bottom here that essentially says once checked, it will not have a price on the product on the sales order. Essentially the quantity will be 1, the price will be 0. So it's quite straightforward and simple to not charge them for the service you're providing, especially if it's under warranty. Now I didn't highlight it on the screen, but another point to pay attention to is on the bottom, we have add, we have remove, but there's also recycle, which is a new feature for version 17 in that you can actually remove a part from what you're actually repairing and put it back into inventory. So you can then either use it, sell it, or even perform another repair should you need to. Quite a nifty little feature if you ask me. And then, of course, the integration is improved further with inventory. So before, adding and removing the parts didn't really update inventory quite well, but now you're going to see live at any point in time what your inventory will be or has been, and you have a history of it just with your stock moves. So in this instance, for this image, you can see the Drone Pro is my main product that I was performing the repair for, is going from stock to stock because it didn't go anywhere. We have it in stock. We have the drone part stock to production. I'm assuming you can guess what happened there. We consumed something. We consumed a part, or we added it to the repair order. And then the bottom one is what happens when we recycle. We essentially take it out of our production location and move it into the stock location. Now, if you're not familiar with stock moves and how they work, I do encourage you to come talk to us. We actually have consultants at a booth or an area where we're doing free implementation at Odoo Experience. So it means anything. So if you want to set up a database like this, let us know. But we can also teach you what it means when it comes to the stock movements and how everything has 2 transfers at all times. So it's live, up-to-date inventory as you're performing your repairs. So instead of just talk about it, we'd like to show you, and so I'll do that next. Whoops. Many of you have probably already seen this screen before. Hopefully you have. If not, it's just the main screen of our applications. We have the repair app here with the new UI. But we're not going to start there actually. We're going to start from the beginning of a sales flow. I'll show you a story and then we'll go into the configuration of everything. So let's say, for example, Odoo likes to buy drones from this company of mine. And the thing is, for example, at Odoo, they want to fly over, they want to record everyone being at the events, but maybe even in version 19 or 20, they're going to have an army of drones and perform Odoo in the sky. That'd be kind of cool, right? But in this instance, some of the drones are damaged. So we'll do a drone repair service where we're going to do 1 unit at $100. Now this is a service again, so if you wanted to, you can do 2 units for hours, for example. So it really depends on the configuration you set up. But hours is not necessary if you're not tracking time, of course. If you just want to say 1 unit is X time, you just ignore it. So I'm not going to go through the normal formal sales process of sending a quote, negotiating, and upselling. We don't need to worry about that. But I'll just go straight to confirmation. So a task isn't created, a project isn't created, and neither is a delivery. A repair is created. This assumes I'm in store, they bring me the product in hand, and I'm going to take it and repair it out back. But what's nice about Odoo, it's also modular in that maybe I'm the person in the front, and I have somebody in the back in the warehouse performing the service himself. So the idea would be that they aren't going to see this. Of course, you see the integration with repairs with the smart button up top, but instead I'll leave this view and go from the perspective of the repair team. So essentially you're going to see a brand new repair from today. The nice thing is that Odoo has everything integrated all at once, and so we reuse features and functionality such as the filter, so you can easily know what's new, and you need to focus on this today. Now perhaps that one didn't actually end up being confirmed. So this is the one that was just created 56 seconds ago, quite nifty. Now I'm going to specify the product that I'm repairing, the Drone Pro, and it's not a return, only 1 unit, and it's not under warranty. So I'm not going to check this box. So let's add our products. The first product is going to be the parts. A generic part, of course, you can configure it however you wish if you want to be more specific. We're going to remove a part. But we realized after looking into it that there's actually 2 parts that need to be repaired or replaced. One of them is too damaged to actually be reused, so we're just going to scrap it. But the other one, it actually is quite reusable, so we're going to just recycle it. So we're going to remove 2, recycling 1 of the 2, and we're going to add 2 more. So for a net effect of 0. Now we start the repair. So of course, it's all tracked in the chatter, a very useful feature to keep track of what's going on at all times. And then when we're done, we can end the repair. What's nice is though, because it's integrated with inventory, it's actually reserving. So your inventory team knows they can't sell these parts, or they can't ship these parts. And if you want to, then maybe it's not urgent, it's not a rush, you have other priorities, maybe other clients who need a big rush order, you can unreserve whenever you want. But of course, this applies more direct inventory management. So this might be too much for smaller businesses that when you don't want to manage inventory. In this case, you'll just check availability again and you're good to go. Of course, you can check description, date schedule, deadline, serial numbers. So this does in fact use serial numbers. I won't do it for today's demonstration, but essentially you will track the ins and out of your serial numbers when it comes into the part and out of the part. Now let's end the repair. So, before we look at the sales order, let's take a look at the product moves. So my screenshot wasn't a lie, it's real life, you see here. So my inventory of the Drone Pro stock to stock, as we saw before. The parts, there's 4 units or 4 quantity. One of them went to the stock, that's the recycled version, as you saw before. One is the scrapped, we can't reuse it, it's far gone. And then of course the 2 coming from stock into production. And the lot and serial number would be displayed here. This also means first in, first out does apply. So if you have lot numbers or serial numbers, it will automatically define the newer one or the older one and apply it there, but you can of course manually change that. You'd probably do this before on the other screen, of course. Now following the breadcrumb back, we can even go to the sales order, but let's do it from here, why not? And you can see that all the drone parts are added to the sales order line. The 2 parts that I consumed and the drone service. So this is the point where you can then create your invoice and go with your normal flow. Very straightforward. This also implies inventory accounting, whether you're Continental or you're Anglo-Saxon. So if you're Continental, obviously your expense is done beforehand. In this case, cost of goods sold will be impacted the moment you've invoiced. But this is not an accounting talk, so don't worry, I won't bore you with that. Now, let's create a new sale. Let's say Odoo wants another drone again because they like our parts a lot. We are going to just sell it for the one. I'm not going to go through the process again. Confirm. We now have a delivery order. So in this workflow, we're going to assume that I go through the full flow. I'm going to ship it, I'm going to invoice and receive payment. Who knows when the repair is going to actually end up happening? So let's deliver. Validate. Let's then invoice just to get the normal flow out of the way. And confirm. See how blazing fast it is? So, now let's say some time has passed and they say something broke and it is under warranty. Now what you could do if you wanted to is you could actually add another line item for warranty. And so, for example, what I would do in this instance is maybe they call us your help desk line or even open a ticket and say, hey, my product is broken. You say, okay, what's your sales order number? When did you buy it? You can search for it. This support team can do that quite easily. And you can see that based on the date of when it was created and sold, it's under warranty, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, whatever you want. Okay, under warranty, you got it. So let's go back to the delivery and let's return it. Because products don't magically end up in our inventory, we need to actually go through the process of receiving it. So we return, specify how many, and this is an incoming shipment, so the warehouse team will know that it's coming in. And when it ends up actually showing up, whether it's actually in person or not, maybe they walked into your store, or they actually shipped it in a box. We validate that it's back into stock. Great. There you see is the repair button. So directly from here, we can create a repair without having to leave the screen. Repair, there we go, so customers automatically predefined. This product to repair will have a domain on it, only showing you what's on the return. So of course, if you're not returning everything, when you create the return, you'll have to reduce the amount of products there. Quite easy. Drone Pro, add whatever we want to replace. Add drone parts. In this instance, it's just a one-to-one. I don't need to show you all the bells and whistles again. And it's under warranty. We do not want to impact the sales order. Then we confirm the repair, start the repair, and then we end the repair. And voila. Now it's all done. If I were to go back to the sales order, follow the breadcrumb back. Nothing is added, so we're good. Now, of course, if I want to finish this workflow, we need one more step. Maybe you'll guess it. We need to actually ship back the product. So if I were to actually go to the incoming shipments, here in the Smart button, I can perform another return, which is just reversing what I just did before. So it's now going back from incoming to outgoing. As you can see with the sequence, it's an outbound shipment, so a delivery. And I validate, and it's gone. Now, what I did before, there's two workflows I demonstrated. One that I instigated the repair at front. The second one happens after a while. Now, theoretically, with the warranty field, you can choose whether you want to actually invoice them for the products or the parts that you've actually replaced. For example, I could increase my service price to compensate for the cost of the products. So, and then it will still show up in the sales order. It's just, it won't have a zero price. Both flows are welcome. So quite straightforward, I'm hoping. Now, how does this work? The configuration is quite simple. Let's go to the products here. We have our drone repair service, and there's the create repair boolean, also true from the images. As I mentioned before, this also applies to the consumable and storable products as well. So theoretically, you could sell this, you can sell a product, ship it, it will create a repair order at the same time, which then you can plan in the future. For example, maybe you're a car distributor, a car seller, and you know that every year maybe you want to do a maintenance or repair service. So you could sell the product, ship it, and at the same time, then go to the repair, schedule it in the future. And so then your team can manage it that way. Or you can have a service. Maybe you want to track it in another way. Maybe there's a lot more going on. You have a project, maybe the repair is related to a project you have, or another service you offer. So you can have a task created and a repair created at the same time. It will all be linked to the sales order, so centralized there. Now, by default, the incoming shipment does not generate or does not link to repair. But it's a quite simple configuration. If we were to go to inventory, configuration, and operation types, what we see here, the receipts, delivery, and repairs, these are all operation types. Repair is a new one where you can essentially perform the repairs. This is your main dashboard of the inventory module. You live and breathe here. You can see, of course, all the repairs. So if you want to configure the different operation types, you can go here, or you can also click on the three dots and configuration. Now if we go to receipts, you see in the repair section, create repair orders from returns. Now of course, if you are using serial numbers and lot numbers, you're going to want to make sure that's also checked, use existing ones. Quite straightforward and simple configuration. You can set up right away. As I mentioned before, our service team can do this for you even today. That is quite it for the presentation. We have actually plenty of time for a Q&A, so send all your hard and challenging questions. Wait, and again, Q&A, you can scan. Thank you. So maintenance will probably be, it's intended for internal work, internal maintenance of maybe your fleets or computers, etc., within your organization. So it's not, they're not directly linked. However, also, repair is not linked to bill of materials. So bill of material will not appear here. One idea, of course, is you could have all the components appear, but depending on how big your bill of material is, that's quite a long list. You're just removing products that you don't need anymore. So I wouldn't advise that kind of approach. You're usually going to take some time, you're going to crack it open, review the contents, and figure out what's broken, and manually add it. It's probably much more effective for you that way.
Why is there a move from stock to stock is really necessary?
Essentially, is it necessary? Maybe not really, but because it's a physical product that is in the inventory, it needs to be there. There is sort of a movement that happens. It's net neutral. It finds maybe another record in the database, but the net effect is 0. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Is it possible, because I don't think they hear my question.
Sorry.
Is it possible to add a product related to the repair as a service, like paint and dye? It's not really real stock.
Let me see the question again.
So it's not real stock, but like paint and dye.
Yeah. I don't think this actually limits what you can add. So the question is, could you do consumable products, not storable, to have this impact? I mean, let's test it real quick. I believe it shouldn't be a problem. We have a consumable. We can do a search more of the whole list. We can do by type. We have a consumable product here, chair floor protection. I don't think it will actually have any impact. And the repair. The product moves. So it does actually impact from a consumable perspective. Probably not what we'd actually want to see, but something to look into. But yes, you can, as you can see.
Is it possible to have parts listed as a bill of material for the products we repair?
Is it possible to have the parts listed as a bill of material for parts repair? So essentially, I mean, if I understand, have parts listed as a BOM for the products we repair. I think that's linked to the previous question about having a bill of material automatically linked. I believe I already answered that one, but if I misunderstand the question, you can find me and we can talk about it. I'll also be at the services booth nearby.
Is it possible to perform a repair to a specific product with a serial number and maybe get all operation for repairs on a specific serial number during its lifetime? So
the question is whether you can repair a specific serial number and have it tracked on the serial number. Well, I don't have it turned on right now, but as you can see, you saw earlier, serial number was something you can select. When I specify a product that has serial numbers turned on, there will be a serial number field here as well. You need to select it. It is required, or lot number, whichever you prefer. And then you'll see it all there together. It will follow all the stock moves, and it'll be quite easy to filter on it here as well. And I just need to verify if it's actually on the serial number record in the inventory module. But we can test that as well.
Is it possible to perform certain checklists on repairs, such as, for example, in production?
Okay. The question is whether or not you can perform certain checklists, for example, in production. It's not related to manufacturing in that regard, so you're not going to get work centers per se. However, we do have this repair notes field, the HTML field. So essentially, very easily, I could do a checklist or bullet points. You can know right away what you need to do to repair. Now, one could argue you can have a default, you can copy and paste from another. I mean, in this instance, depending on what's going on and what's broken, it might be very unique to each repair. So the person performing the repair will probably create this themselves and then go through the checklist as they wish. And this is an HTML field that exists all throughout Odoo, quite easy to modify and update.
How would you account for repair labor costs?
So the question is how to account for repair labor costs. I would probably just add it as maybe the cost of the product on the sales order itself. You can modify that. There isn't necessarily a link to timesheets at the moment, perhaps for a later time. There is a talk about actually labor costs in manufacturing, but I don't think that applies here.
Is there an RMA number generation that can be sent to the customer to make sure that the certain product is the one we were expecting, to link it to the incoming shipment?
The question is about RMA number and link it to the product to make sure it's linked to the shipment as well. I mean, the repair reference would be the RMA, I would assume, but also the serial number. During the process of the repair, you're calling in, I need to repair this, you'll capture the serial number up front, you'll capture it here as well, and then when you ship it back out, the serial number will also be relevant. So the serial number and Odoo's serialization feature is quite powerful. It always follows through every step, every movement. So I believe we have everything you need with the serial number and the repair reference number. In fact, you can even create a quotation from here and send it that way. And that will, you can even copy and paste the reference and include it there.
Can we link warranty in products, or is it needed to be added manually?
Linking warranty in products, I need to verify the full scope of the link. I'm not actually quite sure about that. I mean, as I mentioned, the service product warranty could work here. And then of course the checkbox is a bit more manual, but every case is unique to be verified. I can look into that more.
Maybe a last one. When repair services are offered on an hourly basis, how are timesheets integrated from repair orders?
The question is about the integration between timesheets and repair orders. At the moment, I don't think there's much of an integration. There isn't much of an integration at the moment, but it's something to look into in the future. As you saw, you could create a task at the same time as a repair order. You can log time there quite easily. I mean, you could probably just create 2 line items. One line item is the repair, one line item is the task that you log time on. Not the most efficient, but depending on volume, it could be quite easy to do and easy to manage. And you can really invoice for that time quite simply. As you can see, there's room to connect the 2.
2 more?
It is 26. You might want to go to another talk. I think now's a good time to end. Again, there is a test our services where you can actually work with Odoo consultants live and get implemented right away. I'll be there if you want to ask me any questions at all. Thank you for showing and have a good time.